geopolitics,
Hello,
and
now this
international
is
relations.
Donald Trump's inauguration, and we are
Sorry, Bureau
seeing the
Report.
list being circulated around, and there are some presidents who have been left out. Those notable puppets of Africa and one of the biggest leaders like Ibrahim Traoré have literally been left out. But with Ibrahim Traoré, the case is different. Now, something that caught people talking is the absence of this man called William Ruto. At one point, this man saw himself as the Babel of Africa. Now, from that to this, he now cries out for being left out. Now, this man once traveled to the US and brought some rogue policies in Kenya, and people, the Gen Zs, were so furious, and he said, you know what, you will do nothing. That's when we saw the protest, and that's why this man is missing. Now, this man is known to be a puppet who takes the word of the masters by its own. He literally does everything as instructed by Joe Biden in Africa. And by that time, he used to roam in Africa and the world, spreading the gospel of Joe Biden. But look at him now. He has been doomed. His political life is at stake, and no one, absolutely no one, wants to associate with him because everyone feels like he is a failure and a very big dictator. Now, what's the fate of other political figures that have been left out? Now, we once saw someone like Ibrahim Traoré, who is very notable of criticizing the Western media and the US and its policies. Now, he has been left out because of meeting and talking to Russian president. This should be concerning because at one point, the same Joe Biden and the same President Donald Trump met this Russian president. Now, these are masters of doublespeak that if someone becomes my enemy, he is your enemy. And you can't come to my country because you are an enemy to that person or because you say things that I'm doing that are not pleasant enough to the world. Now, this is the Jamaican Prime Minister who is also a master of doublespeak. One day he criticizes the West, and the other day he is working and is receiving the invitation from White House and is very happy about it. And in fact, he has his plane ready to fly to the US, to Washington, D.C., to have the inauguration in place. Now, we talk of puppet leaders. When we talk of them, you can know them by their faces, the way they talk, and the way they do things, because these are the people who have made our countries to be exploited. Now, look, this is Donald Trump talking and shaking hands with Vladimir Putin of Russia. But when anyone else do this, they become... Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing fine. Now, Ibrahim Traoré, the president of Burkina Faso, has been left out on the invitation list of Donald Trump's inauguration. Now, there are some notable figures that have been left out because of whatever they stand for, and Ibrahim Traoré is one of them. After he made that speech in Ghana, now Donald Trump and the US are done with him. So let's watch this video, then have a quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
DC, in which Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. Vice President J.D. Vance will take the oath at the same ceremony, and invites have gone out to major world powers and the US's key allies, including India. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will represent India at this event, but there is no clarity yet on the people Dr. Jaishankar will be meeting during his trip. But New Delhi will look to ensure that the change of guard in the US adds momentum to the bilateral ties that have grown over the past several years. The incoming US president, meanwhile, has sent personal invites to some leaders, including Chinese President Xi Jinping. Now, this is significant because it's against the backdrop of the geopolitical rivalry between Washington, D.C. and Beijing. In fact, some reports state that El Salvador's president, the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, and Argentinian President Javier Milei have also been invited by Team Trump. Here are the details.
Trump has left the building. Over.
We can now project the winner of the presidential race. Donald Trump wins the presidency.
What started off as unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
The countdown has begun, and the world is watching closely to January 2025 as Donald J. Trump prepares for his second term as the 47th President of United States of America.
I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
While the attention is focused on the ceremony itself, it's the guest list that's truly capturing global interest. From India to Europe and across South America, the leaders who will attend reveal much about the political alliances and tensions that will shape the next chapter of international diplomacy.
We will not fail.
India and United States have strengthened their strategic partnership in the recent years. Prime Minister Modi's warm relationship with Donald J. Trump has been a driving force behind this close bond. From joint initiatives in the Indo-Pacific to shared economic goals, the two leaders have often found common ground. As Trump begins his second term, India's commitment to deepening these ties is clear. With External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar representing India at the inauguration, signaling a continued focus on strengthening US-India relationship.
अमेरिका के साथ हमारे बड़े गहने और घनिष्ठ रिश्ते हैं। हमारी एक स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप है। पिछले कई सालों में और दशकों में ये इस रिश्ते में बहुत मजबूती आई है और नए आने वाले सरकार, ट्रम्प सरकार के साथ के एडमिशन के साथ भी हम लोग मजबूती से काम करना चाहेंगे। इसके अलावा मेरे पास आपको पता होगा कि अभी विदेश मंत्री और हमारे फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी भी वहाँ का दौरा करके आए हैं, जिसका हम लोगों ने आपको इसके बारे में बताया भी है मीडिया के माध्यम से। तो हम आने वाले दिनों में इस रिश्ते को और प्रगाढ़ और मजबूत करना चाहेंगे।
Trump's inauguration will showcase populist and right-wing leaders all sharing common ground with his America First vision. From South American region, Javier Milei, Argentina's new president, will attend Trump's inauguration reflecting shared populist and free market ideals. Even Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, will be in attendance. Italy's far-right Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni is expected to attend Trump's inauguration, aligning with his nationalist and conservative views on issues like immigration and sovereignty. In addition to world leaders, major corporations will also play a key role in supporting Trump's inauguration. Several prominent companies, especially in tech, aerospace, and media, have committed significant donations to back the occasion. Boeing, one of America's largest aerospace companies, has committed $1 million, while Google has also pledged $1 million and will also stream the event live on YouTube, making the inauguration accessible to global audience. Meta under CEO Mark Zuckerberg has donated $1 million, continuing its involvement with US presidential events. Trump's second inauguration will be a global moment, reflecting shifts in diplomacy, populism, and corporate power. With corporate backing and global leaders watching, it promises to shape US.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing fine. Now, it is very interesting to be alive today because it is this day that we are seeing the same puppets who have been preaching the Western policies in Africa being left out in the invitation, in the inauguration list that is being circulated online. Now, I've seen the official inauguration invitation list of African presidents, and we have some notable puppets from Africa like William Ruto of Kenya and others. Okay, Cyril Ramaphosa has been a puppet, but he's siding now with the BRICS and can't be called out. But that's not whatever has made me to make this video, because I feel like someone like Ibrahim Traoré, and people are talking about him, but Ibrahim Traoré was not expected to be in that list. And if at all he was to be called, I could have questioned his invitation, because we have seen how he has been the number one critic of the Western media, the Western policies in Africa, the Western domination and the Western exploitation of our mineral resources. And when such a leader is called upon to attend such an international event, which is one of the biggest events in the world, like the inauguration of the president of the US, now that leaves you with so much question marks, because are they going to harm him in a way or what? Now people are saying, and people are talking and saying, he has been left out. How does he feel? I think he is the happiest man alive, because he knows, because of whatever he stands for, because of the policies, because of his truthfulness, he has been left out. And that means that he is not a sellout to the people of Africa, that all along he has stood to the truth, and that the people of Africa can therefore and henceforth put all the trust they have in the leadership of Ibrahim Traoré. Now we have some notable names, like the puppet of Kenya, called William Arap Ruto. He has been left out, and I think the media has focused on him so much because we've seen just last year he received a state visit to the US where he was treated like a king. And this drives me to one thing. Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela said, when one day you see me being clapped and being praised by the Western medias or the white people, just know that I will have sold you up to the highest bidder. Now, this means when the Western media always praises you or praises a leader from Africa, the way it had so many praises for William Ruto before the Gen Z revolution that took and swept everything, the praises away. Now, this means that William Ruto and so many other puppets from Africa had sold their people to the rogue policies of the Western countries and the white people. Now, the other notable names that have been left out is someone like Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. Now, I know him. I've known him to be a very big puppet, but just for being left out, it's because of the BRICS. Yeah, they are forming an alliance whereby they will be siding and working with China and Russia instead of working with the Western countries and the US. For that reason, the US terms him as a traitor, and so many other leaders who have joined BRICS. But I'm here just to pass a message, because some people feel like going to the US or attending the inauguration of a US president is like a lifetime achievement. I've seen this happening before. When Queen Elizabeth died, the second died, and African leaders were summoned to attend the burial, and they were put in one bus and drove there, then given some let me say, not harsh treatment, but they were given some cold treatment, and they were made to sit at the back with the people. They were never acknowledged. It was the Western countries' leaders who were very much acknowledged, the US president, France President Emmanuel Macron, and so many others. Now, this means, and this talks a lot about Africa and the Caribbean. Where is our place in the world stage? Where is our place? We must reclaim and recreate our place. If it's not there, we can't reclaim it, because it has never been there. So this is the time the African countries should unite, have a strong currency, have a strong leader who can actually speak on behalf of the African continent. And if I say this, I mean it. If black people were to unite, use one currency, speak one language, I know it is the diversity and the culture that we have in us that we have 1,000 different languages in Africa. But if that was not the case, if we hadn't had all these small tribes just speak one language, not English, I suppose not say English, but if we spoke one language, have one leader, one currency, in that you can move from country to country because there are no barriers, because no one says that I come from South Africa, and the other one say that I'm Nigerian, and the other one say that I'm Zimbabwean, so that in that the person living in South Africa cannot move to Zimbabwe because he or she doesn't have a passport. If you check keenly, it's so hard to move around Africa because of they use different currencies, different tribes around Africa. Then it is so difficult to find passports to move to different countries in Africa. And that's the Western mentality, divide and rule. When Africa is so divided that I call myself a Nigerian, this one calls themselves a Ghanaian, the other one a Kenyan, a Ugandan, a Tanzanian. That means you don't speak one language, you don't use one currency, you have different leaders. So that's one biggest challenge we have in Africa. This is the time we should get rid of puppets. And we know them. You can know a puppet when you see one. Myself, I know them because I see how they speak, how they carry out themselves, how they have been manipulated, how they bring rogue Western policies into Africa, and they want and they expect in their very wild dreams that we buy those rogue policies and those laws that are made from the Western countries. We use the dollar. This is 21st century, for heaven's sake. Everyone should unite in Africa. Black people living in the diaspora, this is the time to come home and unite with your African brothers. Ibrahim Traoré has been singing this day in, day out, that Africa, this is the time to unite. If it is not today, then it is never. Because we've been divided a lot. We've been divided in that the Black Americans feels like Africans hate them. Africans have been sold the narrative that their brothers in the other end do not appreciate and do not actually love them. So the Western media has made it so clear that there is hatred between Africans and Black Americans and FBS. So this is the time we should reclaim our land. We should reclaim our motherland. We should call back our brothers and sisters from the diaspora. Leave alone the inauguration thing. Leave alone the puppets. Let's build a unite Africa. The same thing I do say. If we actually get some 3 leaders like Ibrahim Traoré in Africa, then Africa will be the better place to be. They claim that Africa is a jungle, Africa is poor. It's because they have looted everything. The Western countries have looted every single mineral in Africa, left us with nothing, left people languishing in poverty, left, right, and center, from the southern part of Africa to the northern part of the Africa. Go to the west, east, there is nothing has remained for Africans. This is the time Africans should wake up in their wild dreams, wake up from their slumbers, and work hand in hand together for the common purpose and for the common cause of the African person. Thank you so much for having taken your time to watch this video. I appreciate so much. If it's the first time you are coming across the channel, give it a thumbs up, comment, share, and come back. Thank you so much.